see if this screen splits and if he pops up now. I did accept him. Let's see. There he is. What's up? The man of the hour.
Chris? How you doing, man?
Man, you're looking all professional and stuff. You got a microphone and everything. Have you got headphones there too?
I'm recording as we record. So we'll have this every way we can have it.
Rich Dad Poor Dad, one thing that I picked up from there that just stuck with me when I was younger, before I even had any businesses, I was a student. He talked about how most people will never have that like home run, like a Steve Jobs. You know what I'm saying? So the best thing to do is to diversify and to have multiple streams of income. You know what I mean? So I've always been on that vibe, and you're right. If one thing doesn't work out, you're not stressed about it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Man, that book is so awesome. I like the fleet of those books. As I know there's a lot of it is repetitive, but sometimes that's good. You need the repetitive nature for you to go, okay, now I understand. That's my tipping point. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And that's the book that my father read many years ago when we were living on a farm in Wales. And that was the book that gave him the tipping point to invest in his first property. Then 10 years later, he had 50 properties and no longer worked on a farm, all because of that book.
That's awesome. Hey, Kris, I want to say this, man. You're one of my favorite people, right?
But what?
You just one of my favorite people, man. Like, I meet some dope ass people, you know what I mean? And, being in the position I'm in, that we're in, and you're one of them. It's a handful of people that I really fucking love, man, and you're one of them. We don't see each other much, but you're my fucking guy. Like, that's real.
Fills my heart, man. It really fills my heart. Thank you so much. And you know what? Like, this is the one thing that I love about that connection that we obviously have, is that, my best people in the world and my favorite people and my best friends and my long-term friends are the people that I don't connect with all the time. But it's like, we don't count we're not counting the reps. We're making those reps count. You know what I mean?
Quality, right. And I'm sure if we were around each other more, it would still be good, because, like, say for instance, my business partner Sean, that's my guy too. Like, I love this guy to death. And now that we live in the same city, we have a whole routine, a ritual every morning. Like, we meet early, we hit the gym, we hit the sauna, we discussing business, life, like all kind of shit in the sauna. You know what I mean? And then we go begin our day. And it's cool because, like, other people of that kind of high caliber quality of human being happen to be attracting themselves to our little situation, right? So it is growing. Like, I always talk about this. A lot of people say, my circle gets smaller every year, but mine doesn't. You know what I'm saying? I happen to, I'm lucky, I'm fortunate enough to come across some fucking amazing people. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like my morning sessions. It's three of us now. It's me, Sean, and the guy named Jermaine. I hope Jermaine listening. But we work out. That's my only social time. Is training. I'm not one of those people that with headphones. I need to talk. Like, I'm hanging out. We're talking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we do that. We bond through that. We bond in there, suffering in 200-degree sauna and talking. You know what I'm saying? It's like therapy, literally. And, I was seeing a therapist for a while, and I felt a similar energy or a similar benefit of what I was getting from my therapist as from what I got from my guys every morning. You know what I'm saying? With my routine. So it's really, really dope, really cool.
Yeah, it's badass. And one thing that I do, like, I learn by observation as well. I observe a lot. And the one thing that I've noticed about you, even though, like, your social circle may be getting out a little bit further, you've met more people along the way, you still have the same pivotal feet of people around you. Same people. Sure. So that tells me a lot about someone's character.
Yes.
If you've got long-term relationship and there's loyalty there, I see that as a quality. And those are the people that I generally gravitate towards. Like, you've had T in your corner for so many years. You bust him every now and again for eating
Chris.
Shit and stuff,
Hold on, Chris.
He just shouted you out, T. Yeah. Look, he lighting up right now. He blushing. T blushing, and he too dark to blush.
You didn't sneak out and get more cake, did you?
Hey, come here, T. Come here. Hold on. Ask him again when you come over here.
Did you sneak out and get more cake, or did you put that shit to rest finally?
He said, "Did you sneak out and get more cake?"
I plead the fifth.
Now he's blushing.
Now he's blushing. Yeah, nah. Yeah, man, that's what it's about, bro. It's like, listen, this is life. You know, people are gonna argue. If you don't argue with your friends, it's weird. Y'all don't really love each other like that. You know what I'm saying? Or you're with yes men. You know what I mean? So, me and my people, we have disagreements, but we had all right. T, remember this. Just the other day, we had a conversation, a disagreement, right? And at the end of it, it turned out positive. But I told him, I said, this is good. This is normal in a relationship. There's always going to be some conflict at some point. But the right thing to do is to run to it, resolve it, iron out the wrinkles, and that makes the bond that much stronger. So the next time we have something, we'll get through it easier. You know what I'm saying? Because that's life. You're not going to go through life without conflict. It's not a thing.
Exactly. They say friendships are bonded sometimes through suffering, even stronger. You know, it's like, you know, when I plug myself into the social pipeline of the endurance world, you know, there's a lot of us out there suffering together. But I found that it created a bond that you usually wouldn't have anything in common with these people. But then all of a sudden, it was the suffering that was the bond that held us together. That was the common denominator, you know.
That's the same in boxing, bro. When you spar someone, I'm gonna send a shout out to a guy named Trevor McCumbee. He's an undefeated professional light heavyweight. I think he's like 26-0. This guy's gonna be a champion one day. So a couple years ago, when he seen that I was trying to get back in the ring, he shot me a message like, "Hey man, if you ever need some help, you need a sparring partner, you know, I got you." So I was like, perfect. I took him up on that. I went through, and you know, it was a rough, a rough sparring session. You know what I'm saying? But we gained a lot of respect for each other, you know, because we both was in there suffering. I was really suffering, you know what I'm saying? So, but when you suffer with somebody, and if you ever observe fighters, you know, they may hate each other before the fight because it's all the nerves and the emotions. But win, lose, or draw, afterwards, they hug it out. And 9 times out of 10, these guys are friends afterwards. You know what I mean?
True, yeah. You notice that, yeah. You'll see all the hype in the lead up. They're going at each other.
Right.
And there's genuinely some type of hatred there, usually. It isn't just hyped up. It isn't just hyped up.
Yeah,
So all that gets quashed.
Yeah. Because you respect that man. That man stood there to fight. You stood there to fight. The sportsmanship is there, and it's a respect after that. But I think a lot of that is suffering. The underlying factor first of all, the underlying common thread to all human beings on this planet is suffering, is pain. It's something that we all have to deal with over and over. Now, the more yourself, the things that you do, the things that I do, and people in my circle, we put ourselves through suffering intentionally. You know what I mean? So I feel like in stressful situations, whether it be physical or mental, but it's still progressive for us. So I feel like just becoming more and more resistant to stress, you know what I mean? It just makes you a more durable human being, you know, because stress is not, listen, I always tell people stress is good. Bring the stress. I had it was a young lady who, she won a chance to fly out here and train with us and ask us questions, and she was talking about stress, and she was like, you know, she's starting her online business and she's doing okay, but she's like, is it so stressful? When is it not stressful? I'm like, it's always stressful, but that's okay. Stress is good. You know what I mean? And then there's a perspective. Stress, pressure will bust pipes or it'll produce diamonds. You know what I'm saying? It's just how you deal with it. I feel like when people intentionally put themselves through stressful situations, whether it be really hard training or doing an Ironman or a boxing match or even shit like ice baths and saunas, that's building our resolve and making us more sturdy and unbreakable.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better, mate. You know, it's that hormesis, isn't it? Like, it could be like some people say, well, of course, systemic stress will kill you. Well, it all depends what sort of stress that you're talking about. Is there purpose behind it? So, like, if I'm a ballet dancer, I'm going to be training 6-8 hours a day under stress, but that's my purpose. Or if I'm an artist, I'm going to be painting, maybe under stress, who knows, or sculpting, but that's my purpose. So that's a good stress. And like you said, if it's an acute stress, like working out or ice baths or boxing and stuff like that, that's good for you. That actually improves your health. You know, it's that hormesis, it's that fight or flight, you know, and it's toning that vagus nerve is what we got to do, you know, especially when you're thinking about the hot and cold thermogenesis. And it's always good to do these things when you don't want to do it, you know. It's cold outside, it's winter, and you're going upstairs. It's like, damn, man, I just want to get into a warm bed. And you go, no, fuck it, I'm going to get in a cold shower first.
Right.
And then you'll enjoy that warm bed so much more after.
Oh God, yes, that's the thing. That's what. Oh shit. Sorry about that. A call tried to come through. That's the thing, man. Like, people got to realize, listen. The rainy days is okay because there's always sunshine after the rain. You know what I mean?
Skin's waterproof, man.
And you can never appreciate the sunshine without having rain. You can't appreciate happiness without having sadness, you know? So it's perfect. It's normal. That's how it should be.
Yeah, exactamundo. So anyway, talking about stressful situations, well, I'm sure it's not stressful for you, but you just recently, I don't know, like 7-10 days ago, had shoulder surgery, and now you come out of hospital. It's probably good timing for you, actually. You come out of hospital, now the gyms are closed, you got your arm in a sling, yet we've got a lot of people out there that are completely healthy. They've got use of both of their arms, and they're using that as a justification, excuse why they can't progress, why they can't work out, why they can't be motivational, you know. And that's why I thought, I got to get Mike on, man, because like you didn't miss a beat. As soon as you come out of surgery, you're there, banging at it straight away. And you don't even bring that much attention to it because I know that you don't want the sympathy votes. That's not going to strengthen you. It's probably going to weaken you. So I just wanted to get your perspective now on how you mentally adjust for something like this. Is this something that you prepare for before you go under the knife? Or is this something you're like, however I live today is going to dictate how I live tomorrow?
Okay, so let me give you a breakdown. Well, first, it wasn't my shoulder. It's a partial distal tendon tear. So basically, it's the tendon that connects the bicep to the forearm. Okay.
All right, got it. You just had the same sling as I did, so I assume it was shoulder.
So, and from, speaking to my doctor and all of the research that I've done and my friends done, it says men that are active, once they hit 30, they're very susceptible to a tear, right? But mostly everybody that trains the tendons are not all the way there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, my situation is I'm sure I damaged it from curls and deadlifts, but the boxing exacerbated it. Did I say that right? Exacerbate. Is that right? Got it? All right, cool. So the boxing and what I was doing in training. So there's a lot of it's speaking on some nuance in boxing and throwing punches. There's certain times that you throw a left hook. A left hook is probably like, for me, like my best punch. I can reach somebody from across the ring with it. I can knock people out with it, whatever. But you can also use it as a range finder. You can use it to set traps. Use it, and when you're doing that, you're throwing it not that hard, right? You're throwing it with your arm instead of your body, right? So throwing it with your body, everything's protected, but throwing it with your arm is not. So in this situation, I was sparring two guys this day, and the second guy is a good friend of mine. He's a professional MMA fighter coming up, and he just had certain holes in his boxing that I was trying to help him with. And one, he kept dropping his right hand. So I would just pop him with my left hook, just reminding him, like, keep your hand up, pop, 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 over and over and over, right? So at one point, I did it, and then I felt the pop, right? But I wasn't sure because the adrenaline and you're in there moving around. And in sparring, man, like, there's guys that, in boxing, there's people that, like, they may think they want to do it. They get in there and then it's just like, fuck this, because it's, if you're not managing your breathing right, and it's a lot of things that can make you really feel like you're drowning while you're sparring. So, and punches being thrown at you, and it's a lot. It psychologically can fuck you up. So people do a lot of weird shit to get out of fighting, like faking injuries, this and a third. So I felt the pop, and in my mind, I'm like, I can't stop. I don't want nobody thinking I'm trying to get out of this. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't 100% sure I felt the pop. You know what I mean? I'll send you the video after this. So in the tape, you'll see me kind of like stretch my arm out, like seeing if it hurts. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't. So I'm like, okay, moving around, slipping punches, and I throw a straight jab that lands. And that's significant, whether it lands or not, because if it doesn't land, I hyperextend, okay? And it further tears that tendon. So it lands, I feel nothing. So I'm thinking I'm good. We mix it up again, and I hit him with another clean left hook. Bow. And at that point, oh my God, the pain was crazy. It was just a loud pain. Like no sound, but the pain was loud. You know what I mean? So you could look at it and clearly see that my bicep didn't connect down at the bottom. You know what I mean? Now it didn't roll. Thank God for that. Because they said the fascia still held it together, but the tendons were gone. So, but you can see like at the bottom, the roundness, it wasn't there on my left arm, and it was flat right there. It's weird. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, yep, fucked it up. So, I went to the ER immediately after that, and they don't treat this injury as anything, as an emergency. But my assistant is smarter than me, because I was going to just go home, but she knew that, if you're a professional athlete, then they can make certain accommodations. So that's what they did, so that they got me in to see a specialist as soon as possible, which was, 2 days later? Yeah, like 2 days later. And, it was a waste of time because this guy is just not that good. So we looked around for another one, and we found a really good one. And then, he confirmed from the MRI that it was torn, and, he says there's a lot of blood in there, and he's, just showing me everything. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's do this. Let's get it fixed. They said that, you don't have to have surgery to get it fixed, but it won't be as strong, and it might be kind of deformed, right? And I'm like, no, I want it fixed. You know what I'm saying?
Like if you're a sedentary individual, and you're not active, you're an athlete, then you could probably get away with it. But you ain't slowing down anytime soon, so you have to have it done.
And they said most people don't get it fixed, but they're older or whatever, or they're not active. So I'm like, I need my shit right. So so leading up to it, I'm like, it is what it is. I'm not gonna lie, the week of, I was bummed out because I wanted to fight and I was feeling so good, But also it was my birthday weekend, and I wanted to, do something with my friends. And they was treating me to a trip to Mexico. So I was like, I'm not going because, I couldn't, the operation was scheduled like Wednesday after my birthday weekend. So I don't really want to go like this. But after a couple of days, I was like, fuck it. I'm okay, I'll go. So I went, and I was limited. I couldn't jump in the river, you know what I mean, and all of the fun stuff that everybody was doing, but I still enjoyed it, And my father, he planted a lot of seeds in me, man, that grew. And one of the seeds that he planted in me at an early age was, he said, look, like, character is not built when everything is smooth and peachy. You know what I'm saying? That's easy. Everybody's nice when they got money in the bank. Everybody's nice when everything's running smooth. He said, you build and develop character when you're going through shit, hard times, right? He said, that's when you be positive, you don't complain, you don't, you be nice to people, extra nice, you know what I'm saying? And whatever your issue is, you just dig yourself out of it. That's it. Because life doesn't give a shit if you're not feeling good today. You know what I'm saying? So that my training, my father, man, he did a number on me, man. So that training prepared me for this, and also other things that I've been through in my life. Like, I've been through a lot of shit, and I know that when you deal with it the right way, you come out better. It's better. So in a weird way, I was kind of happy that it happened because, like, cool, this is another test that I get to take, and I know I'm gonna pass. You know, the worst part of it was, you know, having my body cut open is not a pleasant thought. You know what I'm saying? So I had never had a surgery like that before, and really never had an injury. So just the terror in my mind, knowing that I'm going to be sedated and they're going to cut me open, you know what I mean? Kind of like creeped me out. But I also knew that, you know what? As soon as that anesthesia hit, I'm going to just wake up fixed. You know what I'm saying? So,
did you have any pictures taken of the surgery that you saw after when you came around?
of the surgery, did you have pictures? She took pictures of after they undressed it. They undressed it yesterday. Actually, was it yesterday or Monday? He took the. I had this.
It's the weirdest shit. When you were under anesthetic, like when I had my shoulder surgery, I had pictures taken. They're showing the reattachments and all that sort of stuff with my arm up, arm up here, and I'm just obviously just out. Looking back at that is surreal. It's weird. It's like, oh my God, that's what happened. Because obviously it's just a blackout part of your day. Yeah. And the next thing you know, it's like, wow, okay, now I'm kind of hurting. But you see those pictures, it's surreal.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Did you ask them for that, or did they?
I asked them to take pictures. Of course, we need content, man.
Right. I should have. I didn't even think of that. I didn't.
But go back and ask him again, man. Go get it done again.
Okay, I'm not gonna do that, but but nah, man. But it was cool, man. Like, and people keep hitting me like, "Hey, man, I hope you can get better." I'm like, look, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm normal. Don't. I don't want that. It's not that I don't need it. I don't want it.
With you 100%. I know how that feels.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want it. I'm good. You still see me training. You still see me. I drive. I train. I'm working. I'm shooting content. Look, I'm normal. It's all good. So, yeah, this is nothing. This is a small thing. It's people going through way worse than me. I would be a pussy and an asshole if I sat here and acted depressed and complained about this when there's people missing fucking limbs. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So that's why I wanted to bring this to perspective as well and ask you as well. How do you help the people out there that have no frigging complaints? They've got their limbs. They can work out. They can still pursue what they had before this frigging quarantine and whatever, And they're saying, dude, I can't get in shape now. I was halfway through some sort of training program, but now this happened. What the fuck am I going to do? There's a lot of complaints out there. How are you attacking that now, coming from your perspective?
Well, I'm still doing content, allowing them to see me training, right? I do have a small setup at home. I'm actually going to be doing content today, letting people know, like, yo, you can order, like, with one pair of dumbbells, you can get a lot of shit done. You can get that on OfferUp or Amazon for cheap. You know what I'm saying? So that's all you need. You don't need a whole gym. But I actually also, like, I've been doing these challenges for a couple years now, and my challenges just so happen to be all at-home workouts, body weight stuff. You know what I'm saying? So my online people, I modify what I'm giving them every day. I still give them the gym workouts, but I'm also giving them home workouts as well. Because some people do have access to a gym, so I'm not going to cut them out. So I'm just providing both. So that's the best that I can do right now. It is what it, and I tell people, like, look, this is the time when you excel past everybody else is going to be lazy. It's going to use excuses. Fucking put your foot on the gas now. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how I feel with my arm. So I've been eating a fairly healthy diet, but, I'll have my snacks and, and shit like that. But now, I had Sean, Sean's a genius with nutrition. So I had him, do a really legit anti-inflammatory diet that's going to help with my recovery and just like, fuck it. Like, let me knock off this little extra percentage of body fat that I don't need. So when this is done, I'm gonna look like a fucking boss. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let them know, like, yo, this was while I was in a sling. Okay, this is all while. And once this is over and people are back to normal, we'll probably be close to summer. So it's gonna be perfect timing for me to never wear a shirt. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm trying to motivate them with action. Like, you see me, you know what I'm saying, with the sling, I'm still getting after it. I don't give a fuck if it's a gym open or not. because I grew up the way I grew up. We worked out regardless. Every period of my life, I trained. When I lived in the Middle East with my sister, we didn't. I didn't have. There was a gym, but it was far. So me and my nephews worked out at the house with no weights. You know what I'm saying? We would modify like P90X type workouts and make it better and harder, and you know what I'm saying, shit like that. So, you know, when you're a gym rat and you love being active and this is what you do, you're not gonna not train. You know what I'm saying? It's not a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
You just got to take your PRs from maybe hitting your PR bench and squat to something else. If your PR is bringing your body fat down, that's it. Like I was on my bike this morning. I've got a bike is called Carol. I'm gonna have to send you a link to this. It's like an AR Carol. It's like an AR bike, artificial intelligence, and AI. Sorry, AI. And it's freaking awesome. Like my best ever power wattage was 788. I got to 800 today, and then I blew it again and got 825. You know, I'm like, I'm just taking my PRs from something else to another awesome area now. You'll continue to evolve. So when you do come out of this, hey man, I achieved something every fucking day. And it doesn't matter what it is. Like we said, you just got to make those reps count, man. It's just all quality now, you know. And I did legs in the garage the other day. My freaking legs are sore, man. I did over 1,000 reps. You know, I'm just going at it. You know, and you got to think, okay, the muscle ain't necessarily knowing the number that's written on the bar, but it'll understand freaking intensity. Let's just see how much intensity you're willing to go through. You know, it's.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
I'm putting together like I'm putting together like a survival guide, you know, quarantine survival guide. Like, just because maybe you don't have work at the moment, and I really apologize and I sympathize if you don't, but you still got to get up at the same time, man. You can't be snoozing. Get dressed, you know, don't be walking around in your jammies all day. Journal, meditate, go out to get a little bit of sunlight, even if it means just getting it from your window. You know, do some breath work. You know, there's so much that you can do to create that internal perspective of this oasis that we have right now.
100%, man. You said something that's so important, man. I be driving home to my online clients, so I'm super straight up with these people. You know, I see you. I'm sure you see it. I see it on social media now. Everybody's hopping on the bandwagon of, oh, you could do this at home. They pick up the remote and do curls, or, you know, it just fucking bottle, you know, lunges with a backpack. I'm like, look, I tell them like this, like, look. You are not, unless you have weights at home, you're not going to get the same kind of work at home. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. However, we can get some fucking legit work, right? We just have to modify the intensity, and there's certain variables that you change. So I got people doing like 3 and 4 movements at a time, like circuits, back to back to back to back. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then really short resting periods. It's got to be short because there's no weight. This is how we're going to make it difficult, make it taxing for you. You know what I'm saying? And then boom, back to back to back to back. I think, in my opinion, body weight workouts are harder than weight training workouts if you're doing it in the right intensity. See, the thing is intensity. So when I'm programming their workouts now, and I do this every day, like I literally program every day because it's usually what I'm doing. So in the notes, I'm putting in between, this is very important. You don't rest longer than 30 seconds on this one. It won't be as effective. I'm trying to really like let them know the intensity has to be there. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, because here's the thing, just going through, let's say you're a client and you go through and do the workout half-ass, right? Well, I worked out today. You didn't do shit today. You know what I'm saying? It does nothing for me if you do it or not. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do it right. Don't waste your time. Get something out of it. You know what I mean? So yeah. So that's we think alike, man. And intensity is everything, bro.
We are thinking exactly alike, because I'm doing the exact same thing. Like some of my clients, obviously, they're just not that fit. So maybe the rest period at the end of the circuit is like 45 seconds, but then the week after it comes down to 30. We increase that intensity, shortening the rest periods, you know, and it's the volume. And like, you know, I'm telling people, you've got, like you said, it has to be a fucking workout where you are dying at the end of it, you know, you've reached failure. You can't just say, hey, look, I went to Everest Base Camp and say that you did Everest. No, you didn't. You know, if 12 reps is your failure point and you stopped at 10, you didn't do a set. So it's the same sort of thing. I tell people, look, you got to treat this as if it's your normal workout. If you take a pre-workout, you take that pre-workout. Don't take your phone in there. You need to be focused on silence. If you are a person that usually gets distracted, make sure there's no distraction happening. That is your hour of your entire day. Treat it like any other.
Right. Are you doing any weights? Do you have access to any weights right now?
No, I don't. Actually, I do. I actually have like a hexagon bar. I have kettlebells. I got a punch bag there. I got a box, so I jump. I got a slam ball, and I got like a curved treadmill and this bike. But I'm doing a lot of circuits without it, you know?
Right. So I've been lately I've been doing what's the bike called with the that kind of moves at the top?
Peloton? Oh, you mean the assault bike?
Yeah, I've been doing an assault bike, but just with my legs. Trying to do like 10 minutes straight, stuff like that. Bro, it gives me
something for you, man. I got something for you to try on the air down. Like I was with I did a tour with Ben Greenfield recently.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were doing some seminars and we got some freaking crazy workouts in, bro. And our recovery after these circuits, which involved kettlebells and Spider-Man push-ups, and it was insane, man. I was trying not to throw up the entire time. But our recovery after every circuit was 5 minutes on the air down bike, but nasal breathing. And that's awesome, man, to take you from that sympathetic nervous state, parasympathetic nervous state, back into your sympathetic before you go at it again. Sorry, I got that the wrong way around. Going from your sympathetic back into your parasympathetic so you recover. And just nasal breathe, man. It's really, really good. I found that like from that 4th minute, I was like, wow, I'm recovered now.
I've trained myself to do only nasal breathing with these kind of workouts, especially when I'm on a heavy bag hitting a boxing but on the bike or whatever. I'm only breathing through my nose. Yeah.
So practice that a lot more because you're wearing your gum shield.
Yeah, but I've been doing it it's just been a thing of mine. You know, when I learned about like the difference between mouth breathing and nose breathing, I was like, yeah, I'll never breathe. I try to never breathe through my mouth now, but especially in training, you know, because my thing is this, my thing is like to be able to have endurance, even if it's muscle endurance. Because the way I think and the way that my training has always been was how long can I do really difficult shit, right? Because you know, if I can boxing is 3-minute rounds, right? And 3 minutes may not sound like a lot to somebody who don't really get busy, but 3 minutes is a fucking eternity.
Damn right. I was doing it on the weekend.
So I try to do things. I do a lot of things timed. You know what I'm saying? Even me taking like shadow boxing with weights, like 5 to 10 pounds, and I'll shoot them straight in the air, just punching. A minute you feel like you're gonna die, you know what I'm saying? But a minute is legit because it's you'll never throw that many punches in a round, and your hands are not 10 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do all of that stuff breathing through my nose, man. I like to.
Yes, that gives you a reserve tank as well. So if you're in a fight and you've just been so used to nasal breathing, that's your reserve. If you're going into the final rounds and you're starting to breathe and, you know, you've got the adrenaline pumping a little bit more because of the excitement, because you're actually in a fight, there's people watching, you've got that reserve because you've trained yourself.
Right. Man, boxing is interesting, man, because it's like adrenaline you could be the most conditioned person, and if you allow the adrenaline to overcome you, you're gassed out immediately. So, right. So I'm gonna tell you, man, like, in 2018, when I got back in the ring, you know, in a professional manner, it was training or not, it was so foreign to me because, you know, the lights, the people, Chris, even little things like not having a shirt on, because in training, I'm always layered, you know what I mean? A sweat. So, and I never spar without a shirt on, you know what I'm saying? Having small gloves, like everything felt very dangerous and I felt very vulnerable. I felt like, imagine, I don't know, being on a battlefield butt naked. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt, like with no protection. You know what I'm saying? So, however, I feel like my years of hard training, it had me prepared mentally to like, there's nobody around me. I didn't remember nothing. Walking out there, I can't hear people. I was just locked in and focused on this guy across the ring is going to try to hurt me, so I need to hurt him first. You know what I'm saying? So, but I can definitely see how, you know, that kind of stress can zap that adrenaline, paralyze you. Look, fear is our best friend, fear and stress, because I don't really look at fear as fear, right? Fear, bravery, whatever. It's just an energy. It's an energy that can shut you down if you allow it, or it can fucking empower you. It's gasoline, it's fuel. And I've learned how to, like, from as a kid, bro, because boxing, the older you would get, like, it became more real because guys are bigger, they hit harder. Because when you're a kid, nothing hurts. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have power, we're not strong. So you get to 16, shit is different. You know what I mean? And I remember, man, like, I would be in there intimidated, but I would breathe that shit in until I'm angry, until I want to. It's like, as intimidating as that guy is, it's going to be bad for him because I'm breathing all of that in as fuel, and I'm a fucking breathe fire on that guy. You know what I'm saying? So I've mastered that, man. Like, any uncomfortable situation or anything that give me that feeling in my stomach, that anxiety or that fear, I breathe it in as fuel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that perspective. You know, because like you do see it on various athletes, you know, especially in physicality based sports like boxing or UFC, mixed martial arts, where some people can go in there and they're braggadocious and they're confident, but they're able to see it right through. You know, you'd get people like, remember Prince Nassim Hamed? He was always, you know, getting into the people's faces, but he would see it through towards, you know, until the end of his career. Right. And then you'd see people obviously like Mike Tyson, very calm, very collective. And he didn't come across as intimidating on purpose. He was just an intimidating cat.
Yeah, he's different. He's different, man.
All that energy, it come towards him, and then he just let it out.
And Mike Tyson is interesting because he's one that will openly tell you his most powerful ally was fear. You know, Mike Tyson, him and I have very similar statures, right? I'm an inch taller than him. We're both around in his prime 215 to 219. You know what I mean? In the ring. You know, heavyweights are 6'5" and better. You know what I'm saying? So you're in there with really big men. You know what I mean? So there is a certain that knowing that this big man that you go in there and you try to kill him immediately. You know what I mean? To not get hurt. So he'll tell you that his fear is what made him so fearsome, because he was afraid. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the cool thing about boxing, man. And a lot of boxers, they're very emotionally honest. Unlike tough guys. Tough guys are just, they're world beaters. You know what I'm saying? Nothing phases them, whatever. But a boxer will tell you, man, like, no, I'm fucking scared. If you're not scared, there's something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Now, you're scared, but you made an agreement to go to battle, so you're gonna do it. That's where the bravery comes in. You know what I'm saying? So, and you go in there and you prepare properly and you try to do everything you can to come out on top. So yeah, fear is normal as fuck. You're not a coward to be afraid. You know, that's a normal emotion. You gotta experience fear. You know, that's what kept human beings safe for thousands of years, is fear. You know what I'm saying? It's an intelligent attribute to have.
Yeah, for sure. And just being aware of it and being transparent, you can actually admit that, and you're not going to lose any testosterone. You know, your alpha status is not going to go down. If anything, right, it's going to go up. You know, like I remember, this is going back in 2007, I believe. I went to a prison with Branch Warren and with Mark Dugdale. We were doing a feature in there. And I remember Branch saying, you know, all you guys here, you think you're badasses because you got your ass here in the first place, you know? He said, being a badass is taking responsibility. Taking responsibility of your actions, admitting to those actions, being responsible for your family, for your kid, or anything like that. And I thought, wow. And people, you could see the light bulbs starting to go off. It's like, okay, here's some badass guy here telling me I'm not badass. Right. And this is how I become badass. Right. And it changed people's perspective. And I thought, wow, it's as if these people had never had any teacher like that. And sometimes it is the obvious that we need to be told for us to have that aha moment. The light bulb goes off and goes, shit, man, this guy's more alpha than me. I can be alpha too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I have hand experience. I'm very transparent, and I spent some time locked up, and it was at a period I was locked up, but it was from something from years ago that I had to deal with. At this point, I had already changed my life. Everything was all for the better. So I'm in there with a different perspective. So when they see me, I'm looking like I'm looking now. So it was a lot of chatter and and on the West Coast and the jails and prisons is everything is very racial and it's set up like that by the guards. They really try to keep everybody at odds with each other. You know what I'm saying? So, there's always a leader or they say a spokesperson for each race. So the blacks, they wanted me to be the spokesperson immediately. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. No thanks. But the other guys, like the head of the Mexicans, they would come to me still to resolve things because they respected me, right? Because I wasn't a knucklehead, you know what I'm saying? And then the white guys, my cellmate was white, and he liked me, and we liked each other. And he would tell me like, yo, at the meeting, when anything pops off, everybody's gonna jump you. I'm just letting you know right now because you're big. So like, I ain't worried about it. Like I literally had no fear in there, and not from a tough guy perspective. I had no fear in there because I knew that that's not my world. I knew this is all a test, and I gotta pass it. I can't fail. I gotta walk properly, talk properly, do the right thing. And I just feel like I'm okay. For some reason, nothing worried me, nothing concerned me, right? So everything started.
Let me ask you this. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But like you had a friend that was a white guy in the cell. Let me get this right. But in the community, in the communal sections, like you wouldn't be able to sit by him, correct? He'd have to be with the whites. You'd have to be with the blacks and Mexicans. Would have to be together. You could not intermingle.
Traditionally, but people will talk, make deals, whatever. That's not looked down upon, But so like let's say you ever see Cali Muscle videos when he's doing the spreads, these long, like that's real, and it's fucking great. So everybody gets commissary depending on where you're at once or twice a week, and commissary is just like outside food, like noodles, chips. Snickers. It's really junk food. It's really stuff that's bad for you, but you want it because it's like your only taste of freedom. You know what I'm saying? So what's traditional is like to make a spread, like, and it's like a big fucking delicious unhealthy burrito made of all kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So, but the rule is, you can't feed another race, right? So I would so one day, and I had money, so I always had a bunch of food. So they would come to me to get the ingredients for the spread. So the guy, and this was the leader of the blacks, he was the leader technically, but they treated me as a leader. But I didn't accept that, you know what I mean? So anyway, he comes to me and like, all right, and I gave him the items, and he said, all right, so how many you want? I said, make me 2 and make my celly 2 as well. My celly is a white guy. And he was like, he sat there shocked, like, okay. And he went and did it, you know what I'm saying? And they say like, what happens is nothing, it's normal, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of guys it's funny, Kris, because when I was in there, I felt like I was a counselor for people, you know what I'm saying? Because we be sitting there playing cards, playing chess, and then these two guys want to fight, and in jail, if you fight, you get put on lockdown. And sometimes, if the guards don't know who was fighting, nobody's going to tell who was fighting because you can't do that. So we'll all get on lockdown. On lockdown is lockdown. You're isolated, for however long, no sunlight, no phone calls, no nothing, right? So I said, you really want to sacrifice 30 days in a hole because he called you a name? Because he caught you cheating at cards? You know what I'm saying? Like something simple and silly and trivial, but to people who just really don't know any better, it's profound. And it was like a light bulb went off in this guy's head. Like, man, I didn't even think about that. And it sounds silly to us, but to that guy, that was like heavy. You know what I'm saying? To think, well, he he called me a name, but I did violate the rules of our game. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. But man, guys would be at my door. I'd be in my bunk in my cell, like just on a bed reading, and guys would be standing at my door with nothing to say but wanting to talk. You know what I'm saying? Just ask me anything, because there's no hope in there. And you have all of these people in there, man. The worst thing that you can do to somebody is give them boredom. You know what I'm saying? And nothing to do. And you have no concept of the time. You don't know what time it is. You know what I mean? There's no TV, there's no nothing. And this was like in there's different levels, and I was in the max security, so it's really nothing in there. So it could drive you crazy. So the fact you think so, but it zaps any what's the desire to do anything. Yeah, you're not motivated. I made myself work out, but I really didn't want to, man. I didn't want to do shit. It's depressing is an understatement. You know what I mean? So and you're not I knew that I was gonna work my situation out, and I did, but I was sad by the people in there. Like, their lives was fucking horrible, and nobody cared. Like, there's a huge portion of our society that people don't know exists and don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got a bit of an insight to it just about 5-6 weeks ago. I was down in San Diego before I went over to India. I was down there for some sort of convention and a seminar, a nutritional seminar. And I met up with, do you know Wes Watson, who's down there?
No,
check this guy out. I'll send you a link. He was just on the London Reel, and he was locked down for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And it really changed him. It changed his perspective. And he's kind of in the same game as us now. He's helping people online, and really changed his life around. Very polarizing character. And he spoke about some of the different things that you were just speaking about right here. But, one of the things that kept him going was still getting up early in the morning and doing his burpees and whatnot, having to get up in the morning to have some type of structure, because like you said, the day's kind of just going from one to the next, and you're just biding your time.
All right, so that concludes the live with Kris Gethin. That's my boy. Whenever we talk, we build, man. I tend to connect the people that I connect with. The connection is heavy, is deep, So we didn't even scratch the surface of what we were supposed to talk about today, but maybe we'll do another one. Shout out to Kris Gethin. Y'all check him out. I own a sports nutrition company, and so does he. But I actually vouch for his, they do the same level of quality and control that we do. He's research based, and I actually used one of his products getting ready for my fight in 2018. So a lot of respect for Kris. That's my boy. But and he's a savage athlete, man. He's a stand-up dude. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed it. If y'all like these talks, I'll share more of them. All right? Just let me know. We out of here. Peace.